development go and housing because they own the water. Nothing can happen without water. It is an absolute disgrace if this government or any government was to privatise water. And I'd tell the people, you protest against that like they're going to protest against the carbon tax, and I will be there. I'm going down to Canberra on the 23rd, and I'm going to protest with my fellow Australians.
Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully that will be a big one, because Australia has to speak up and be heard. And the only thing that politicians, and I'm not talking about yourself, the only thing politicians don't want to happen is if we don't vote for them. And they will do anything to stay in power, and they will do anything to get our vote. They will lie, barefaced lies, to get our vote. When they got our vote, they then changed the rules to suit themselves.
Carter, look, I'm going to be direct here, because I hear so often is that, well, I'm voting Labor or I'm voting Liberal because my father voted that or my mother voted that, and that's the way I vote.
Always.
And you know what? They have no idea why they're voting for him. It's just because I've always voted that way.
Sorry if I may. I've said to people, that's the case. I've said, why do you vote for those people? And they said, because my father, my grandfather. Yeah. And I said, how long's your grandfather been dead? Oh, about 60 years, but he's still voting for you. Have you not yet realised and come to today? Because you see, for instance, Ben Chifley. Ben Chifley was a real man who was a worker, who did the best he could for Australia. And the evidence is still self-evident. It is there. We can turn on the tap and we can drink Snowy Mountain water. These days, they don't do it for Australia. They do it for their own reasons.
That's correct. But I'm tell you listeners, don't be so apathetic about your politics. You will take an interest in your footy matches, you'll take an interest in your soccer matches, or you take an interest in your whatever you do, fishing or whatever. We are talking about your future, your way of life, and for your children's as well. And it's no imposition to actually take the time to ask the questions and find out why you are voting for this person. And I'll put this in an analogy. Would you have someone come into your home and tell you, you have to go to bed at this time, you have to eat at this time, and no, you're going to have this type of carpet or flooring or whatever? The same thing is happening in your country. So you're putting people in there that are going to run this, which is going to have an impact on your life.
Every day.
So, exactly right.
Every day.
So wake up, Australians. Consider who you're voting for, why you are voting for them. And if you're still that dogmatic, or you believe that they are, and I'll tell you this, in the lower house, then vote for whoever you want to, but I'd suggest vote for someone different in the upper house. Because and I'll explain this, because I'll tell you, a lot of Australians don't understand the workings of the two houses. In the lower house is where legislation is made, and this is passed, this is where the Premier is, in the lower house. Then it goes to the upper house, which is the Legislative Council. And in the Legislative Council, it's passed and it goes to the governor to be assented to become law. Now, if you've got everyone in the lower house is of the one party, which is Labor or the Liberal, and then you've got the same in the top house, Labor or Liberal who control it, it's just passed through without anyone opposed. Well, they can't, because it's just passed through and it becomes law. Yep. But if you've got someone different in the upper house, they can then oppose that and say, no, we're not passing this, send it back to the lower house and with the amendments to it, and you got good debate. You will only have good government if you have got good opposition, and that's what we need in our parliaments. And you need people who are going to oppose it. You don't want yes people. You don't want people tied only to party lines, and people who are afraid to speak out, or people who won't say a damn word because they're protecting their positions because they know next time they won't get pre-selection. So Australians, I'm begging you, because we are on the brink of losing our democracy and our freedom of speech and our way of life in this country, wake up, have a good look at why you're voting for that person or the party, and ensure that they are going to represent your needs, your future.
And Australia's future. And Australia's needs.
Well, as you said before, and I'm going to use your words, it's us. We are the shareholders in this country.
Exactly.
It's all about us.
Exactly.
They are working for us.
Yes,
and that's exactly why I'm going for this position. I'm applying for a job. That's what it is. I'm putting in my resume for a job. And that's what I'm doing here on this radio program. I'm applying for a job. And you are the ones that I am applying for this job.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, I'm telling you that I believe that I'm the best first person for the job.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not, then you get rid of me down the track.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's all about. You have to look at these people. Are they the best person for the job?
And have a look at their track record. Have they done it the best they possibly can in the past? If you want to know what people are going to give you in the future, have a look at their past performance, because what they will give you is more of the same.
Well, have a look at the state. Look at the waste of monies. And they pay these consultants, and they pay the bureaucrats, all these committees and consultants and everything like that, thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Millions. Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah, millions.
And the whole fact is, if these people that you vote in, if they can't make a decision, then what the hell are they doing there? Get rid of them. Because they should be able to make a decision based on getting some facts in there. They need their facts, but you've got to have people who can make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
And don't be yes people, and don't be people that are dictated to by the big multinationals, big business. They have to be there for the right reasons, that Australia is in their foremost thoughts, and the people and their well-being. That's what a politician is.
Say that again. Australia, the people, and that's got to be the foremost in your thought. Of
course it is.
Yeah, that's got to be your motivation for it.
Of course it is.
And that's not their motivation, the ones that are doing it now.
No, because they're career politicians.
Exactly. All they want to do is be in power.
Correct.
That's it.
And that's why they're in fear of me, because I know that I will come out and I stand up for what I believe in. Look, I'll tell each and every one of you, and I'm the first one to say it. You may not agree with everything that I say, but what politician do you agree with? And then they say, well, the way that she says it. Well, then I say to other people, well, which one do you want me to sound like?
Mm-hmm.
And the whole fact is that what you will get out of me is truth, honesty, and integrity. And I will work.
I like what you said, that you said when you're in Parliament, those other politicians become accountable. They are not accountable in any other way.
No, they're not, because the public need to. And this is what I tell the public. When you're not happy with something, don't sit back and just think, oh, what can we do about it? You actually then go to your Member of Parliament and you whinge, and you whinge, and you whinge, and you tell them you are not going to vote for them next time around.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they will say,
something.
well, I'm in fear of losing my seat,
yeah.
So we better start doing something.
Mm-hmm.
Question,
mm-hmm.
Call for accountability.
Yep.
Don't let them get away with it. And I'm going to be in the same boat.
Yes.
Have no doubt about it.
Of course.
Because if I get elected, well, then I'm going to have to be accountable to the public. And it's every person in New South Wales who is on the electoral roll will have the opportunity to vote for me in this election.
Okay, tell us how they actually do that now that you're on the subject of actually voting for you. How does that happen? Your name's not even on the electoral roll. Not in the electoral...
I am on the electoral roll.
I do apologise.
Yes.
A slip of the tongue.
Yes, I know.
You're not even on the electoral ballot paper.
Well, what happens is the Legislative Council, and they call it the Upper House in New South Wales, they call it the tablecloth. It's the big white paper that you're going to have. You have a smaller one for just your electorate, and the Upper House is the big white paper where everyone in New South Wales can vote for the Upper House.
Yeah.
So you've got all these boxes above a line, and they're marked from A to P.
A, B, C, D, E, F,
G, H, I, J. Remember? J for justice.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and then you'll have a line, and you'll have everyone's name and boxes below the line. Now, I am standing a team of 16 candidates under the group J. Now, I'll say to people, just go to the box J above the line and just put a 1 in it.
And that's all they got to do?
And that's all they have to do.
Nothing else. Just above the line, and it says Group J.
It says Group J.
Put a 1 in it.
Now, that's right. Now, my box J will not have any, above the line, will not have any name beside it. Because this is what they've done again, Carter, is that only registered political parties are entitled to have their name beside the box above the line. So it confuses the voter. Now, below the line, you will see all the 16 little boxes with my name and my other candidates' names below that. And a lot of people say, oh, no, there's Pauline Hanson, I'll put one in her box.
Wrong. Don't
Exactly
do it that
right.
way. Yeah.
If they did that below the line, then they must fill out 15 boxes. They must mark 1 to 15. They must go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up to 15. Otherwise, their vote is invalid. So I'll encourage people, just go above the line, box J, as I said, justice in government, justice on the floor of Parliament, whatever you want to call it. Let's just get there and put a 1 in the box J, and your vote will go directly to me.
Okay, there it is, J for Justice, if you want to vote for Pauline Hanson. That's above the line. Forget everything else below the line, just put 1. Is it a tick, is it?
Yes, just the 1. Just the 1.
Or just put number 1.
Number 1
Number
in
1
the box.
in the box, J for Justice. All right, I've got some information I've got to share with everybody. Pauline, can you hang for a second,
yes,
please? Thank you. Pauline Hanson is my guest in the studio.
The Carter Edwards Show